Tonja K. Taylor with River Ring Creative Arts. Today I just have a couple of quick tips for you on finances. These are things I've learned myself, my husband and I. But first let me share a scripture with you from James 1:5 from the Amplified Version. It says, "If any of you is deficient, meaning lacking in wisdom, let him ask of the giving God who gives to everyone liberally and ungrudgingly without reproaching or fault finding, and it will be given him." So in other words, when you ask the Lord for wisdom, and he is wisdom, Christ is made into us wisdom, he gives it. Actually, if you're born again, it comes up from within. It comes from your spirit to your mind. So Christ is made into us wisdom. So when we ask him for wisdom, he's a faithful Father. He wants us to succeed. He gave Jesus for us to succeed. So he gives us wisdom. We have to be still and quiet sometimes and become aware that when we have an idea, or when someone that we know and trust that loves God gives us advice, or when we read it first of all in the Word or in a book by a believer that really is committed to the Lord, something like that, then we must recognize that as wisdom from God. He works in many, many ways. So here's the advice. First of all, my husband and I worked really hard to pay off debt. And I've done that in the past. I've doubled up on payments, and that's I guess number one on the financial advice. If you can at all on any loan you have, pay more than once a month. You have that monthly payment, but then if you can make any other payment during the month, especially if you can double that, then that vehicle, that house, that land, that whatever the loan is will be paid off twice as much, and you will save money in interest, which is the money, of course, that the bank makes for loaning you the money. So that's number one. Pay more principal. Pay twice a month. Double the payments if possible. I know that might seem impossible, but the Lord can help you with that, as he has me in the past, and even my husband, and since we've been together for, by the way, 16 years. So yeah. So number two is to not close the accounts when you pay off a credit card. I was kind of shocked when I learned that when you have a credit card and you pay it off, yay, isn't that our goal? Should be to me. That seems like wisdom from God. Get out of debt. He says, owe no man anything but to love him, right? So you pay off your credit card or your loan or whatever it is, and then you close the account. Don't close the account. My husband and I did that. I've done that before I got married to him, and then we've done that, and people are like, no, don't do that. It brings your credit score down. We're like, what? How could that bring your credit score down? It should be a sign of good stewardship, of faithfully paying off a debt and then closing the account, cutting up the credit card, right? I don't know, and I don't agree with all the stuff about the credit scores, but that is one piece of sound financial advice. So just pay the debt off and leave the account open and hopefully never use it again, right? Okay. Go ahead and cut that credit card up so you won't be tempted. Just leave the account open. Somehow that boosts your credit score. Don't understand it. You know, actually, faith in God and seeing the order and beauty of design and how everything works so synergistically, and how the sun is positioned just the right degrees from Earth, miles from Earth, so we don't burn or we don't freeze. That's a lot easier to understand than other crazy things. So those are my two pieces of advice. Those are wisdom from God. Double up on payments of principal on any loan, or at least pay the regular monthly payment. Try to always pay more than the minimum if you can, and then pay another payment. It may not even be another payment as big as the first one, but anything you can pay on principal will knock that number down faster. You'll save money in the long run by not paying as much interest. So the second piece of advice is, if you're going to have a loan or a credit card, pay it off, but leave the account open. Do not close it. That will somehow boost your credit score, or at least not lower it. Let me just change that word. Scratch what I said about boosting. it will not lower your credit score. So let me make that correction. So God bless you. Remember, well, okay, I'm just going to throw this in. A third piece of advice, which is really the first piece of advice, is tithe. Tithing is as needed and desired and commanded by God today in the New Testament age as it was in the Old Testament. But you don't have to take my advice for it. Talk to Him. Ask Him. I'm trying to provoke you to good works. So let's just reiterate here. Number one, tithe. You will always have enough when you give God the first 10% off the top, meaning the gross, not the net. Not after taxes are taken out, but first. Tithe. Then pay as much principal as you can. Add extra payments. Add a little extra to your payment on your loan or loans as much as you can. $5, $10, $50, whatever you can do. Preferably doubling the payment. It'll be paid off faster. You'll save money because you won't be paying as much interest. And the third is, if you're going to have a loan of any kind, credit card or other loan, pay it off, but leave the account open. Do not close the account, and that will keep your score from being lowered. Because if you close that account, even though you're faithfully paid it off, somehow, I've been told by several sources that it lowers your credit score. So those are 3 pieces of advice for you. God bless you, and know the Lord wants you to prosper, be out of debt, have an abundance. So continue to seek Him for strategies, but there are 3 for you right now. God bless you, and bye.